sheer shock. I need somebody help me, please. And that was a moment in which like it went from having an outer body experience to like me coming into my body to the point where I was like, this is problematic. When people tell me what they're craving, I want it. Girl, who turned on the faucet? Who is cutting onions? Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Welcome back to my channel. Guys, let me catch you guys up on what has been going on this past 12 weeks. No, 16 weeks, basically. Give you a behind the scenes of everything that's been going on. Obviously, you guys already watched my reaction, Miles's reaction, and if you guys are not on TikTok and don't know, we did a whole beautiful photo shoot and did a whole gender reveal. And if you haven't found out yet, here are those pictures and how we revealed it. So we're having a boy. Oh, how crazy. I always saw myself as a girl mom. Wait, let's get into it. Let me tell you guys. If you don't have a drink, get you a drink. Let's sit down, let's chat. I am the last child of my sisters. None of them have kids. And so I'm gonna just like give it to you straight because I had no idea what I was walking into, okay? Also, I know you guys asked some questions. I will be answering them at the end of this video. To start off, some early signs and symptoms was the fact that my period symptoms were so much usually heavier and more intense. And the symptoms I was having leading up to me taking the test and what you guys saw were so not intense. Like usually in my regular 28-day cycle, as I get closer to my period, my cramps are growing in intensity. And then the first day of my period is like the worst. Literally, I have to take like a preventative Advil or some sort of like Tylenol or something to brace for the pain, and I can still feel it, but it's like more bearable. There's been times where I'm like, you know what, let me just go through the pain anyways, and I am literally debilitated, like, so I Advil my way out of it usually, just so I can function during the day. The same thing with my boob tenderness, it's like just gets more and more intense until my period comes, and then it's like all good. This time around, my cramps were really dull, almost like, I don't know, last day of your period kind of dull, like not intense at all, and they weren't growing in intensity. So I was like, oh, this is weird. So every day felt like I'm about to get my period, or am I, like maybe I have a couple days left. So I kept thinking that I miscalculated because I also track my period tracker on my Flow app, and I just was like, no, I'm getting closer. I don't know, maybe I miscalculated. I don't think so. I'm usually pretty spot on with my app because I wasn't on birth control. We're very good about tracking all of that stuff, and so that was weird. And then my boob tenderness, I had none. Like when I tell you I had none, I was like, oh, this is so weird. Why are my breasts not tender? And the reason why I was so shocked when I took the test, and I just took the test on a whim, was because I was almost so convinced that it wasn't gonna be positive, because like you just hear of the nausea that comes with pregnancy, and your boobs are so sore and it's a dead giveaway, and you don't really hear too much about like cramps. Like I never heard anybody talk about cramps. And so I was kind of like so sure that it wasn't a thing. Obviously, then when I was late for my period, and the first day I was like, okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's nothing to worry about. Maybe I miscalculated. Day 2, I was like, I definitely didn't miscalculate this much. By day 3, I was like, you know what? Forget it. Let's just take the test. And I had my camera out because every time I took a test, to be honest with you guys, I have so much footage of me taking tests. So I was like, yeah, let's just take a test. Like, just in case, you never know. If you're taking a test, just do a video, because you never know. And I took the video and I was like, oh, but you guys saw that video. And when I tell you, I really thought I was gonna be like one of those like, oh my God, I'm so excited, like so like giddy and stuff. Sheer shock. And I felt like I was in a daze. And if I could explain the first 12 weeks of my pregnancy, it would be just that. The whole idea of like, oh, don't tell people that you're pregnant because you never know what might happen. I get that, but also I could not get the words out of my mouth to even tell my sisters. I just showed them the test. And so even tell my parents, I was like, I can't say those words. I don't know why. It doesn't feel real. I feel like I'm jinxing it. Like there's so much like mental turmoil in that, like just in believing it. But the beauty of it all is that, crazy enough guys, after I took the test and I told Miles, the next day, like literally that first day, we were both like looking at each other like, what? The next day Miles was like, yep, I believe it. You know what? It's true. Let's call all the parents. Let's tell everybody. Let's tell Abby. Let's tell Nina. Let's tell my parents. Let's tell the world. And I was like, hold on now, buddy. I'm glad you believe it, but I'm still like in a daze. So he was like so sure of it, which was kind of comforting, to be honest, because I was still like, I was trying to get him to convince me of like what was happening, you know? And I was still, I think also the shock of it all and like the not understanding what was going on was because I didn't have those typical symptoms that you would think you'd have when you're about to, like, you know, the early signs of pregnancy. And so after the test, I was like, you know what, let's give it a couple of weeks. First of all, I called every OB office, I called my health insurance, I called everybody to be like, I need to see a doctor. Like, I need somebody help me, please. And everybody's like, yeah, okay, sounds like you're about 4 weeks pregnant. It looks like you took a bunch of tests. If you come in here, we're just gonna do the same HCT test that the pregnancy sticks do. So you might as well wait. The first appointment, and I looked up a birthing center nearby that I was keen on after doing a little bit of Facebook research. And they were like, the earliest we can get you in is at 8 weeks pregnant, which that would be exactly the time that I had actually just recently purchased my parents' tickets to Hawaii. So I was like, wild. Love the timing though. I was like, okay, fine. The earliest you can get me in, book it. Let's go, because I need to confirm what the heck is going on. And so I've also heard that the reality of symptoms really kick in after week 7. At this point, I'm just like sitting in anticipation, but I'm still having all of the cramps. And like now slowly I was having a bit of like the breast tenderness. And so the cramps were still feeling very much like I'm about to get my period. I'm about to get my period. So every day I would go to the bathroom and I'd be like, okay, I might just get my period. And like, it would be okay. Like almost like not wanting to believe it because I was afraid that, you know, I was just gonna get my period. And so you guys know my parents came, and, or maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't think I vlogged it, but I did on my TikTok. My parents came, we had a blast. Didn't have any symptoms. Even when my mom was here, like, you guys know how much our parents, she was like, what can I get you? What can I give you? Like, you know, like, what are you craving? And I'm just like, I'm not really having any cravings. Like, you know, they were hella jet lagged. I thought my tiredness was coming from the fact that I was like showing them around everywhere, because that was actually one of the symptoms. I was very tired all the time. Obviously, if you've been around and you've watched my vlogs, you guys know I'm in Hawaii. I work on Central Time, so I'm up at 4:30 a.m. every morning and I work until 1, and I'll usually take a nap or drink a Red Bull. Obviously, I wasn't drinking my Red Bulls, but I was, luckily, because I wasn't having any other symptoms like morning sickness or food aversions, I was still able to drink my coffee, God bless, so I was able to get through the workday. But as soon as that midday crash happened, I was out like a light, and I tell you, I could have slept for 8 hours. I was so tired. But obviously, with my parents being here, I was like, you know what, let's do it to it. Let's go outside, and then we'll just sleep early. I was going to bed at like 7:30, which I wasn't mad at, okay? Tiredness never really bothered me until I have like something to do, obviously. Crazy enough, all up until our 8-week scan where we go in and then they do the test, you know, or like they do the ultrasound in a very invasive way, and we're able to see the baby. It was the craziest. That was a moment in which like it went from having an outer body experience to like me coming into my body and being like, oh my God, we're having a child. We're gonna have a human. It like really dawned on me, which God bless the technology, because what were we doing before ultrasounds? It just became so real. And the fact that at 8 weeks, the baby had a whole heartbeat. Like it was a living, I think that was the part that was like really tripped me up. So I was like, this is a living being living inside me. If you've already had kids, you're probably thinking like, oh my God, why are you making this up to be like something so hyped? I don't think you understand. Like it never became as real as it is to me now than ever in my life before. So everything felt like such a crazy new experience. And it was that moment that I was like, whoa, like this is so real. It's so wild. And even at our 8-week scan, our ultrasound tech PA, she asked us like, are you having any symptoms? Is there anything? And I will let you guys know, early symptoms, TMI, all TMI, okay? The most symptoms I was having is I was constipated, which usually 1 cup of this bad boy and I'm good for the rest of the day, you know? But I was kind of constipated, but like not troublesome enough, because I also wasn't really paying that much attention to it. And then two, I was super super gassy. I don't know why. Sorry, can't help it. I was way more gassy than I've ever been in my entire life, to the point where I was like, this is problematic. The pH level of this house is changing. Okay. And again, the cramping, which the OB said everything is normal, which, by the way, everything in pregnancy, totally normal. The craziest symptoms you can think of, that's normal. Like, that's just the wildest thing. And so the cramping apparently was really normal because your uterus is expanding and growing. And I had that all throughout almost most of my first trimester, I think almost until like 10, 11 weeks. And then it just like dulled and like faded away, which was super interesting. But it definitely didn't help the anxiety of it all, let me tell you. Because all the way up until like the last ultrasound that we did, which was at 13 weeks, where they gave us the green light, I was still like, but why am I cramping? There was one day that I had, it was super early on before we had even told our parents. No, this was shortly after we had told our parents, but before they had got here. I had really bad stomach ache, and I went to the bathroom, and I was so afraid to wipe, to the point where I was like bawling, crying, because I was so convinced that something was wrong. And in that moment, I had such a great, like, my heart broke for all women who like do go through miscarriages and stuff, and you hear about it all the time. But in that moment, like the fear and anxiety of it all was just so overwhelming. I just couldn't stop crying. And it wasn't even like anything bad had happened, which, by the way, all was well. I was fine. I just hadn't gone in a while, you know? But I called my sister, and I like was telling her, I was like, why I'm so anxious. I'm crying. I'm like, you know, all of these things. And she was so encouraging. She was obviously, you know, like, she was telling me like, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Do not let him steal your joy or like have any dominion in your house. Like, get that joker out of here, you know? And I think having her speak life into that situation and into me gave me the courage. I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize like all of this anxiousness does not belong here. Like, you're so right. And ever since then, I just found a really beautiful Bible verse. I'll put the one that I've been like basically meditating on anytime, because those thoughts obviously do still come back, and like a little bit of fear every time I feel a twinge or like, you know, muscle pain in my stomach. I'm like, and then I like meditate on those words again. And it's been super, super helpful to keep my mind in check. I also started reading a book. It's literally 100 pages. I don't know where I kept it for this book, crazy enough, but I still am like on page 50. Why am I not reading faster? But it's called, I'll put it up here, Supernatural Birth or something like that. And it is not like a book for how to birth naturally, although it does talk about it, but it's talking about how to invite God into your pregnancy, into your journey with having children and everything, and the promises that God has given women when going through pregnancy and when going through even just like a fertility journey, like if you've been told that you can't have kids. Such an encouraging book. It was clearly written like back in the day, but I have been clinging on to the words of this book. Like, it's so good. Yeah, that was probably the most, the scariest part of this whole journey. Since then, honestly, my symptoms have been interesting, which I have been tracking them again on my Flow app, and I'll tell you guys a little bit week by week the kinds of symptoms that I've been having. Really early on, like maybe even like week 5, 6, my sense of smell had already started increasing. Usually Miles will make bacon, and you guys know I don't eat bacon. I don't really eat meat as a whole. I just eat fish. When Miles will make bacon in the house, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it actually kind of smells kind of good. Bacon smells good. I don't eat it. I'm not a pork eater. I'm Orthodox, you know? Usually I'm like, yeah, it smells pretty good. This week 4, 5, 6, the smell of bacon, atrocious. I'm like, you stop making bacon. Like, it made me want to throw up. And just when he opened the package, he wasn't even fully making it yet. Bionic smell, which, by the way, I still have bionic smell. Kind of cool that you gain a superpower as you're pregnant. Also was feeling super bloated. The breast tenderness started right around week 5, 6. And this is also when I started getting headaches. And I thought maybe it was because of my caffeine consumption, but headaches just kind of like kept coming up. And I thought maybe again, it was I'm not drinking enough water. Maybe I'm not eating enough, but I think it's just a symptom. Like, I think you just get headaches. That's so interesting. Okay, by week 5, I started having a little bit of back pain, which I thought was interesting, and it continued all the way up to week 5. By week 6, I had definitely back pain, cramps also never stopped, honestly. And I started to notice a little bit of that bloating slow down, but I just was like really, really hungry. I was just eating more, which I was not hating that, let me tell you. I have been trying to gain weight for so long that this is probably the easiest time I've had gaining weight, which is so crazy, and eating properly. By week 11, which I thought was pretty interesting, I noticed when I'm now flossing my teeth, I have my gums bleed so much, and I also noticed that was a symptom, and it's very common during pregnancy for women to have like your gums get really inflamed. Fun fact. And sleepiness was at its highest back then by week 11, and then I didn't note down any other symptoms in all of February, but honestly it was because I think I just started to feel more and more normal. The cramping had slowed down by that point as well. However, the one thing I do think I noticed the most is that back pain, which is still kind of going, and I'm at week 16 right now, still feeling little twinges of back pain, still feeling like a little bit of like, not cramping, but I can feel like my uterus stretching a little. So sometimes I'm just like, I try to add a little bit more stretching to my routine. And I think that's all that I have noted down in my app. I think I've covered everything, so let me go ahead and go through some of your questions that you guys sent me. Okay, the first question says, how are you feeling so far? Any weird cravings yet? Throughout my pregnancy, the one consistent thing I craved was a very cold mini Sprite. It wasn't the mini can, I didn't want it. Lol, congratulations again. I'm so happy for you guys. Thank you so much. Which, can I just say, like, I am so appreciative of all of the women and men that have commented their good intentions, their congratulations, all of that. You guys are so sweet, and I'm so grateful that like this. I feel like I have such a like solid community on YouTube, which is why I don't care if I'm making money on YouTube. I don't care what it is, like I will be on YouTube whether we're making money or not, because I just love the community we've built here. To answer your question, how am I feeling so far? Honestly and truly, one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this first trimester video is because I feel like the fact that I haven't had any morning sickness, and like my symptoms have been very small, like very like minimal, and I felt so good, has been the reason why I think it added to my anxiety, because I'm like, why do I feel so good? I'm not supposed to be feeling good. This is not right. Maybe something is wrong. Maybe I'm not really pregnant, like especially early on before the ultrasound. And every time I looked up so many videos on, you know, how do people feel in their first trimester, their first couple weeks, it just was so not my experience that I'm just like, you know what, God, I'm not gonna question you. I'm so grateful. Thank you for this amazing experience that I'm having right now. And I hope that you guys who are not pregnant or don't even plan on being pregnant, whatever, if you guys do end up getting pregnant, that I hope that your pregnancies are just as light and easy in this first trimester as it has been for me. I've felt so incredible. Also, my skin cleared up. Who knew? I didn't need new skincare. I just needed a baby. So, feeling really good is all I have to say. Any weird cravings yet? Nothing weird. However, when people tell me what they're craving, I want it. It's weird. That's the weird part. So when you said a cold mini Sprite, I would love to crack open a Sprite right now. That sounds amazing, but I will drink my coffee, which seems really bland now that you said a Sprite. Sounds good. I don't even drink soft drinks, but that just sounds so good right now. So if somebody's talking about food, I'm just like, let me get some of that. You know, that's kind of been like the cravings that I've been having, but also anything citrusy. And I think I've noticed this is very common in pregnancy in most women. Citrusy, crunchy, cold things just sound so good. So I've had maybe like more than 100 oranges in the last 3 months. I don't think you guys understand. If I see an orange, I gotta have it. If I see an orange, I gotta have it, okay? And nothing I want more than a cold, crispy Red Bull. But I know, obviously I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just saying I want it. I'm not gonna do it. Just think about it. What are some things you're looking forward to in parenting? And what are some things you may be apprehensive of? Okay, so This is something that Miles and I have definitely been talking about. Like everything we're doing now, we're just like, you can't be doing that when a baby comes here. You should definitely not do that. Like we're just like over analyzing our daily habits and our life. And it's so interesting because we're like, oh my God, we have to be like the perfect little specimens of humans because there's gonna be another human watching us do everything that we do. But honestly, I think that's the part that I'm most apprehensive of just not being a good enough example for a little human to survive in this world. I'm working on it. Why do I want to cry? Anyways. Oh, can I just say that's another symptom? Girl, who turned on the faucet? Who is cutting onions? I cry all the time. Why am I crying right now? Like, girl, get it together. Literally get it together. But yeah, anyways. That's crazy. Some things I'm looking forward to, honestly, is I'm so looking forward to my parents and Miles's parents interacting with the baby. I'm so excited to be surfing, even though we're probably gonna leave here before the baby is able to surf. But like, just going to the beach with the baby, just hanging out with the baby. The baby. I'm excited about the baby. Okay, that's really it. I'm like excited about all of it. But from a parenting perspective, I don't know. I just hope I do a good job, to be honest with you. This person wrote the sweetest message ever that I'm like, oh God, it was so kind. But the question portion says, has your workout routine changed since getting pregnant? And girl, drop the prenatal and vitamins you use or are using. We need all the deets. So Miles and I had actually planned on, I'll get to the vitamins part first. Miles and I had planned on like trying next year, meaning January. This was back when. We were like starting the new year in 2025. Maybe we'll start trying, but no pressure. You know, we didn't want to add any pressure to the situation. But I was like, all right, well, I'll do what I need to do, aka like start taking vitamins. Because guys, I never was a vitamin girl. First of all, just eat your vitamins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Growing up, we never like took vitamins. I don't know. I never grew up taking vitamins, and I was like a perfectly healthy kid. That's been my mentality up until now. But when I started thinking about like, oh shoot, if we're planning on having a child, then let me think about like some supplements I need to be taking to make sure I have a healthy vessel. And I would take maca root, which I had been taking maca root before for like a little bit of joint pain when I used to be lifting and working out a lot. And also just started taking like regular once a day women's vitamins from our local holistic store here. And that's about all I was doing. Then once, I actually got pregnant, it was like the most disgusting thing to me. I just, like the maca root, absolutely not. The once a day vitamins were really high in folic acid, which could have been honestly a really good prenatal as well. Could not take it. So as of right now, I'm taking like little gummies, which I know don't have as much vitamins. However, I'm trying to do my best in supplementing what I'm deficient in with real food. So making sure I'm having lots of eggs, lots of beans, lots of lentils, like, and crazy enough, those kind of things sound so good to me. Like I could have a rice bowl with hella beans, hella lentils, and just douse it in yogurt in like a Greek salad kind of way, and that sounds so good to me. So I think that my body is kind of going that route. I do definitely want to take a blood test. I think they'll do another one probably when I hit a 20-week mark anyways, to see if there's anything I'm deficient in or anything that I'm lacking so that I can make sure I'm supplementing or eating more of it. But as of now, that's what I got for vitamins and all this stuff. But I have heard that really good things about the ritual vitamins, if that's something you guys are interested in, and you want to go like the vitamin route and you're like, girl, I ain't doing all that, which I totally get. And as for the question on my workout routine, luckily, like I said, because my symptoms have not been bad at all, I have been keeping up the same workout routine, except I've dropped the weights. I do weight training about 4 to 5 times a week prior to being pregnant. Now I've just dropped it down to like 3 to 4 times a week. But instead of doing all weight training, actually something that I'm doing is 12-3-30 very consistently, at least 2 times a week. I'm also trying to do like a light jog run. I want to keep up my running because I want to continue my endurance workout. I've been hearing and watching so many birth videos about how birth is such an endurance sport, not just for your body, but also mentally. I know in the Habesha community, in the Ethiopian community especially, when a woman is pregnant, it's like, don't lift heavy things, don't make unnecessary journeys, you know, all of that stuff. But I'm literally getting ready to do a 5-mile hike today with my dog because I already have the endurance. I don't want to lose it, but also I want to be doing workouts and stretches and all that stuff that I know are gonna benefit me for this marathon that I'm training for, aka the birth of this baby. As far as my workouts, I'm working out less technically, but it's just different. I'm doing 3 days of weightlifting and more so maybe 1 day of endurance, but when I'm doing my upper body days, I'll usually do my run in that same day as well. All right, I think that's all the questions that I have. Thank you guys so much for being here, for hanging out with me, for your questions and all the well wishes. Please be praying for me and my family. I'm always asking for prayer. As long as you pray to Jesus, honey. Don't be praying to nobody else for me. I'm just kidding. I'm so grateful for this community. I am going to be bringing back the fashion videos. I just needed to kind of get this backlog of pregnancy videos out, so we're all in the same time frame now. We're going back to real time, and I am excited. If you're excited for the pregnancy content, baby content, all that good stuff, it's still gonna be a part of my channel because that's like the life phase I'm in right now. But the fashion content isn't going anywhere. I'm so excited to be pregnant in the summer. I know people say, oh, it's the worst. Just you wait. The pregnancy fashion, babes. We excited for it. In any case, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.